Hey everybody, Todd here. I hope you're having a great week and welcome back. Today I've got another affordable set of semi-open back headphones. I've got the Superlux HD681s in for review. Now, these are a really popular headphone. The pricing does fluctuate a bit on them. At the time of recording, just under 50 US dollars, and Thoman's got them available for about 25 euros, so a really affordable option. But are they any good? Well, let's find out. Now lately I've been looking at a number of affordable options in an open or semi-open back headphones. I get a lot of requests from you guys in the comments for something that's going to have respectable bass response. It doesn't have to be booming certainly, but more so than what we get in a lot of open back headphones in this kind of price range. The other thing, of course, is what kind of detail are we going to get, and are we going to get any soundstage and imaging performance, plus what kind of build quality can we expect for this price. So we're going to go through all of that, do some audio tests, and see just how these shape up. Now, when I look at the Sine sweep analysis, I see a really strong performance in the sub-bass and bass frequencies. They're really well within alignment. Then in the mid-range, there's a slight underemphasis, and then some of the higher frequencies, definitely a boost. And when we look at the linear analysis for some more resolution, we can see there's a considerable boost between 7 and 12K, followed by a little dip in the upper frequencies. So something to keep an eye on as we listen to music. Now, when I look at the logarithmic comparison, again, I'm seeing a very good performance here in the sub-bass and bass frequencies. They're really right within range. Then there's an underemphasis in those mid frequencies, followed by a considerable boost in the 7 to 12K range, and then a bit of a dip again. This is really the profile of a headphone that will have slightly recessed vocals and mid-range frequencies with kind of a sibilant, bright characteristic to it. And that kind of lines up with what I'm hearing. Now, the linear analysis really just gives us more resolution in those upper frequencies, and we can really see that's what's going on. Now, looking at a graphical comparison of direct and recorded audio through the headphones, we can see the headphones really do favor those lower frequencies. It's quite linear, the relationship, so things are kind of staying in alignment, just slightly boosted. And we get the same thing really throughout the rest of the range. It follows the profile fairly well, but there's either a kind of an underemphasis in the mid frequencies or an overemphasis in the upper frequencies. As we get higher and higher up, we get more deviation from the profile. And the added resolution of the linear graph shows us that the headphones do follow the general profile of the sound, just deviating either under or overemphasis throughout most of the range. And then in the very utmost frequencies, we get a considerable boost. So that again is where we're going to have kind of a bright, open, airy sound from these headphones. Now, I've loaded up the original direct recording as a reference track in iZotope's Audiolens. You'll see it in that purple region, and the white line is going to represent the playback of the recording through the headphones. Now, Audiolens gave us a very good moving reference across the entire playback, and you could see that the lower frequencies stayed within reference pretty much all the time. The mid frequencies tended to be underemphasized by a few dB, and then the upper mids as well as the highs were considerably overboosted. That lines up with what we've seen in the previous graphs, and it also kind of lines up with what I'm hearing.
What about the world we both believed in? What about the word that made it so? What about the world we both believed in? What about the word that made it so?
You show me beauty in life. You put me first all the time. No wonder I'm on a high when I'm with you, when I'm with you, oh yeah. You show me beauty in life. You put me first all the time. No wonder I'm on a high when I'm with you, when I'm with you, oh yeah.
Now the comparisons for the male and female vocal samples really show the headphones follow the profile fairly well until you get to those upper sibilant frequencies. There we get considerable boost, and it's really evident in both vocals. Certainly the female vocal also tends to sound quite a bit brighter. The male vocal has a little less information in that range, but nonetheless the sibilance is a characteristic of both. And this is a sample of spoken words, so we can compare the sound of the recording directly versus the sound through the headphones. And this is a sample of spoken words, so we can compare the sound of the recording directly versus the sound through the headphones. Now for spoken word, the slight underemphasis in the mids isn't really a big problem here. I wouldn't say it's enough to be scooped. However, those upper frequency boosts kind of can enhance that perception a bit, but it's really more about sibilance with these headphones. They sound fairly realistic across most of the range, just a little bright for my ears. Now, of course, the HD681s aren't specifically marketed at gaming, but at an affordable price, they could be an option, so let's check out some game audio. Now, after spending some time gaming with these headphones, I have to say I actually enjoyed the way they represented the spatial environment. I thought they did a really good job there. I didn't feel that overboosted highs was bothersome or really distorting my perception of what the game should sound like. And the low frequency response was really nice, again, kind of for an immersive effect with explosions and otherwise. So I think these could be a good option if you want an affordable gaming headphone. Now, I have to say I was surprised with the Soundstage and Imaging performance of these headphones. It was certainly better than what I expected in this price range, and in fact, it's going to outperform many closed-back headphones that cost considerably more. So if you want to have a cheap set around for referencing just for those purposes, these wouldn't be a bad option for that. Again, not going to compete with anything in a high end, but overall the performance really outdoes the price. So taking a look at build quality, the first thing is I've got a set of AKG K240s here. Clearly these Superlux headphones are meant to be kind of a knockoff, a copy of that type of style. Same sort of adjustment, not necessarily the same build quality though. These K240s have much more comfortable ear pads on them. Of course, a removable cable with an XLR end on it here. And so really kind of a very different headphone. So I'm just going to put that out of the way. Now we talked about that. Now these headphones themselves. They're a very lightweight plastic, not, as solid as I would like them to be, of course, but this design really is meant to be that there's very little to break, okay? So that's kind of a good thing here. I don't know how the cable is inside, I don't know how the solder is, how well they'll hold up. The ear pads, really kind of cheap. That's all you can really say about them here. Not a whole lot of room inside as far as depth goes. So, expect what you get there with the price range here. They are nice and lightweight though, so, that way, you're not going to feel heavy on your head for a long period of time. They have a fair amount of adjustment in terms of the length on them for around your head, but if you got a very large head, you may find they don't fit all that well. The cable does come with an adapter, so you get that 3.5 millimeter, and you're going to get a thread-on 1/4-inch adapter as well, so that's standard. And they do come with this sort of carry pouch bag, if you will. It's not going to protect anything, but at least it keeps it all together. So that's kind of what you get in this price range. I would say it's very average. Now I have the features and specs in the description below, but there's two things I want to draw your attention to. First, these headphones are really easy to drive. You can use them with any device you want. No special headphone amp required. And secondly, the sub-bass extension. These headphones actually have exceptional sub-bass extension in this price range. So if you like genres like EDM or hip-hop, you work in those genres, these headphones actually could be a good pick for you. Now, I'll give you my final thoughts on these headphones. First of all, I can see why so many people really like them. They have what I call a very friendly or pleasing sound profile. They've got good solid bass without being overly boomy, and that boost in the high frequencies makes you think they have more extension than they really do. But the mids are recessed, and the upper extension actually isn't there. Now, overall, the Soundstage and Imaging is good as well, so if you want that kind of spacious environment, they're going to give you that sound. So again, I can see why people like them. On the negative side, really hard plastic materials. The ear pads are also quite firm and they get very warm in a short period of time. So if you're going to use them for a long time, you may want to consider going to some velvet ear pads, something like that here. The cable is very average on these headphones. It's pretty stiff. Don't know how well that's going to hold up. But again, for the cost, it is what it is here. Of course, the design is simple. There isn't a whole lot of motion to them. So that's probably a good thing in this price range. And so overall, I would say for general listening, if you want that pleasing sound, they're a good option. For production applications where you want something a little more honest, probably not the best choice.